In today's hyper-competitive law school admissions environment, where law schools have more than enough qualified applicants to choose from, every piece of your law school application matters, including your letters of recommendation. In the past, letter of recs were mostly a formality, like a rubber stamp of approval, but now they are a critical piece of what will get you admitted. But the problem is most letters of rec, when just written without guidance, are pretty vague and general. They'll say things like, you're hardworking, you're smart, but that pretty much applies to everyone who's applying to law school. What makes a letter effective is specificity and knowing what law schools are looking for and applying it in that letter. But the problem is you're not the one writing the letter most of the time, right? So how can you ensure that a letter of rec is actually going to work for you? Hey, I'm Mara Freilich, one of the top rated law school admissions consultants in the country, and I'm going to walk you through the exact framework I use with my clients so that their letters of rec are not left to chance and actually help their application. Step 1, secure the right recommender. This is where a lot of applicants go wrong. Law schools do not care about the prestige or how impressive your recommender is, nor do they care how close of a personal relationship you have with them. What law schools do care about is a recommender who can talk about 3 things: how you think, how you perform, and how you compare to others. And ideally, no matter how far out of law school you are, you still want at least one academic letter of rec, because what law schools are assessing in your recommendations are whether you can handle the complex academic environment of law school. If you really can't get any academic letter of rec, try and get a professional one or some letter of rec that can at least say that you can handle complex intellectual material. And if someone ever has any hesitation in writing you a letter of rec when you ask, move on. A lukewarm letter of rec is just as much a red flag as a bad letter of rec. Okay, step 2, give your recommenders a strategic outline. Most applicants ask, send a resume, and think they're done. But to get a strategic letter of rec, you want to send curated materials to your recommender. So yes, give them your resume, but also give your recommenders a short paragraph about why you're pursuing law school and what you think you want to do with your law degree. Third, and most importantly, you want to give your recommenders a targeted outline of the skills or traits that you want them to highlight, and then specific examples of how you illustrated those traits or skills while under that recommender's purview. I always tell my clients, no one remembers what you've done or how you've done it better than you, so don't just rely on your recommender's memory of your own accomplishments and skills. When putting together that outline, think of what law schools care about. So for academic letters of rec, they're really looking for your intellectual capacity, for how you compared to other students throughout all of the recommenders' teaching time. So you might talk about your analytical abilities, how you handled complex material, and how you engaged in vigorous classroom discussions. Again, you always want to give specific examples for your recommenders to point to. Professional letters of rec, this shifts a little bit. Law schools are now caring more about who are you as a leader? How do you show up in a professional setting? How are you collaborative? What do you look like on a team? Things like that. But across all letters of rec, whether it's academic or professional, the key is that it needs to be illustrative. Not just general, vague, conclusory statements that you're a good team builder. How are you a good team builder? Step 3, you have to manage the process. Provide your recommenders with a clear deadline of when you'd like this submitted. And then tell them the process of how they need to submit via LSAC. Remember, you're going to go into your LSAC portal, put in their information, and it will trigger an email to them to upload it directly. And don't be shy about following up with your recommenders. Trust me, they appreciate it. And it's much better to feel a little awkward reaching out to a recommender and asking them when they think it'll be submitted than to just not get that recommendation at all. In the comments, I've linked to a blog post about this framework, and it goes into a little more detail with some sample language you can use to reach out to your recommenders. So good luck. Don't leave letters of rec till the last minute. I see too many clients think this is going to be an easy ask, and then they have recommenders who take forever to get them in. I always say this is one of the first tasks you want to handle.